In the quiet town of Al-Rashid, nestled among ancient dunes, lived a woman named Lila. She was known for her serenity and grace, but that tranquility was shattered one fateful evening. Lila had recently moved into an old house on the outskirts of town, a place whispered about in local legends. The house had stood empty for decades, its windows boarded up and its doors locked tight. The townsfolk avoided it, speaking of strange occurrences and an unsettling presence. Despite these warnings, Lila felt a strong connection to the house and decided to make it her home. At first, everything seemed normal. Lila spent her days cleaning and decorating, her nights filled with peaceful sleep. But soon, peculiar things began to happen. She would hear whispers in the dead of night, disembodied voices that seemed to come from nowhere. The shadows in her home moved as if alive, and objects would shift or disappear only to reappear in strange places. One night, Lila woke to the sound of heavy breathing beside her bed. She turned on the light, but there was no one there. Her unease grew, and she sought the help of a local scholar who specialized in folklore and the supernatural. The scholar, a wise old man named Tariq, listened intently as Lila recounted her experiences. He explained that the house had once belonged to a wealthy merchant who had dabbled in dark rituals. It was rumored that the merchant had summoned a powerful Jinn, an ancient spirit bound to the house. According to Tariq, the Jinn was malevolent and sought to torment anyone who entered its domain. It thrived on fear and unrest, feeding off the terror of its victims. Determined to reclaim her peace, Lila decided to confront the Jinn. She prepared a ritual using ancient incantations and protective charms that Tariq provided. As she performed the ritual, the temperature in the room dropped and a chilling wind swept through the house. The Jinn appeared as a dark, swirling mass of shadow, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. Lila, trembling but resolute, recited the incantations with unwavering conviction. The Jinn howled in fury, its form writhing and twisting as the protective charms took effect. With a final, anguished scream, the Jinn was banished, its presence dissipating into the ether. Exhausted but relieved, Lila felt a profound sense of calm return to her home. The house, once a place of fear, now felt welcoming and peaceful. She knew that the Jinn would not return, for its dark presence had been driven away by her courage and the ancient rituals that protected her. Lila continued to live in the house, now a place of comfort and serenity. She never forgot the ordeal but found solace in the knowledge that she had faced her fears and emerged victorious against the darkness that had once disturbed her. Life in the house returned to its peaceful state. Lila resumed her daily routines, tending to her garden and enjoying quiet evenings with a good book. The once ominous shadows now seemed to retreat harmlessly into the corners of her home, and the whispers of the past had faded into silence. Yet, despite the tranquility, a lingering sense of unease clung to her. One evening, while organizing an old trunk she had found in the attic, Lila discovered a hidden compartment. Inside was a dusty, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed with age. The journal belonged to the merchant who had once lived in her house. Curiosity piqued, Lila began to read. The entries detailed the merchant's descent into dark practices and his obsession with summoning powerful entities. The journal revealed that the Jinn he had called forth was not an ordinary spirit but a being of ancient power, bound to the house by a curse the merchant had unknowingly triggered. The final pages contained frantic scribbles, describing the Jinn's growing influence and the merchant's desperate attempts to control it. As Lila read further, she found a passage about a hidden chamber within the house, where the merchant had performed his rituals. The journal hinted that this chamber might still exist, concealed behind walls or beneath the floors. The merchant's final words were a plea for someone to end the curse, lest the Jinn's wrath continue to haunt the house for eternity. Determined to uncover the truth, Lila began a thorough investigation of her home. She examined every inch of the attic and basement, looking for signs of hidden passages or chambers. Her search proved fruitless, and doubt began to gnaw at her. Had the journal been a relic of a bygone era, its warnings no longer relevant? One night, as she lay in bed, Lila felt a familiar chill. The whispers returned, more urgent and insistent than before. She realized that the Jinn's presence had not truly been banished but had merely been lying dormant, waiting for an opportunity to reassert itself. Desperate, Lila revisited Tariq, seeking his guidance once more. He listened carefully to her renewed fears and the journal's revelations. Tariq confirmed that the Jinn's curse was indeed intricate and powerful. He suggested that Lila perform a more comprehensive ritual to fully cleanse the house of the Jinn's influence. With Tariq's help, Lila prepared for a new ritual, one that would require more than just protective charms and incantations. It involved a sacred ceremony, invoking ancient rites to break the curse entirely. The process was arduous, and the Jinn's resistance was fierce, manifesting as violent tremors and a dark fog that choked the house. As Lila completed the final incantations, the house seemed to shudder and groan. The Jinn's furious roars echoed through the walls, but Lilith's resolve did not waver. The ritual reached its climax with a blinding flash of light that engulfed the entire house. When the light faded, the oppressive darkness had lifted. The house was once again peaceful, but this time, Lila knew for certain that the Jinn's curse had been broken. The whispers ceased, and the shadows retreated for good. Lila continued to live in the house, now a place of true serenity and safety. Years later, as she looked back on her harrowing experiences, Lila felt a deep sense of accomplishment. She had faced an ancient evil and emerged victorious, ensuring that her home would remain a haven of peace for generations to come. Years passed, and Lilith's home became a beloved landmark in Al-Rashid. Her once eerie house had become a symbol of resilience and hope for the town. Visitors would often stop by to hear her story and marvel at the beautiful transformation of the old residence. One spring morning, Lila received a letter from an unknown sender. The letter was adorned with intricate symbols and written in a script she didn't recognize. It read, "The balance you restored has not gone unnoticed. A new darkness stirs, and your strength will be tested again. Seek the hidden knowledge before it's too late." The cryptic message unsettled Lila. She shared the letter with Tariq, who was now retired but still a wise figure in the community. Tariq examined the letter and confirmed that it was written in an ancient dialect linked to old protective wards. His expression grew somber as he explained that the Jinn's defeat might have triggered a different, more insidious threat. Determined to protect her home and the town, Lila began to investigate the letter's origins. She discovered that the symbols were connected to a long-forgotten network of secret societies dedicated to guarding against supernatural threats. She reached out to these societies, finding their members scattered across distant lands, each with pieces of a puzzle that needed to be assembled. Through her research and communication with these ancient protectors, Lila learned of a hidden artifact known as the Seal of the Ancients. This artifact was believed to possess immense power and was crucial for maintaining the balance between the mortal world and the supernatural realms. The search for the seal led Lila on a journey across continents, from the dusty archives of ancient libraries in Cairo to remote monasteries in the Himalayas. Each location presented its own set of challenges, including cryptic riddles, physical trials, and encounters with supernatural beings that tested her resolve and courage. Lila's quest brought her into contact with a diverse group of allies, each contributing their unique knowledge and skills. Among them was a historian named Arjun, who had dedicated his life to studying ancient artifacts, and a warrior named Sophia, whose expertise in combat proved invaluable in confronting supernatural adversaries. Their journey climaxed in a hidden temple deep within the Amazon rainforest. The Seal of the Ancients was rumored to be buried there, protected by powerful wards and traps designed to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. Lila and her companions navigated these dangers, overcoming treacherous terrain and solving complex puzzles. Finally, they reached the chamber where the seal was kept. The artifact, an ornate medallion embedded with glowing runes, radiated a calming yet formidable energy. As Lila reached for the seal, she felt a powerful force surge through her, confirming that the artifact was indeed the key to maintaining balance. Upon returning home, Lila placed the seal in a hidden chamber within her house, where it would remain protected and undisturbed. She knew that the balance between worlds had been safeguarded for now, but she remained vigilant, aware that new threats could arise. The story of Lilith's bravery spread beyond Al-Rashid, inspiring others to confront their own fears and challenges. Her home, once a site of haunting terror, had become a beacon of hope and strength. Lila continued to live her life with peace, knowing that she had faced darkness and emerged not only victorious but also prepared for whatever the future might hold.